As many of y'all know, I go by the name of Joffey Joe, and this is the show, Call It How I See It. And on today's episode, I got my buddies back with me, and we're here to talk about a couple of teams for y'all. Yes, an action-packed episode. So, buckle up, because here we go. What up, world? We're back, and I brought my boy Glenn Pratt back with me. Yeah, that's right. What up, Glenn? How you doing, man? How you doing tonight?
Yo, Joffey. You know what Joffey calls? I gotta call it like I see it.
That's right, yo. That's right. We gonna ride his way, Glenn. We gonna ride the wave, bro. We gonna show the world.
Let's get it.
So,
Let's get it.
on today's episode, there was a big game this weekend. It actually turned out to be an okay game. It was all right. Second half pulled through. First half,
I had somebody today. I said, "Would you rather have it the other way around?" To me, I think it's how it went. It went like this. It just constantly listen. Love the ending, man. We got 5 quarters of football. That's the bottom line. Think about that. We got we got 5 quarters. The last game of the season. Come on, gotta love that.
no, for sure. I agree with you 1,000%. And I think we all won. You know, I mean, the NFL won. The fans won, the damn Swifties won, everybody fucking won. So overall, I mean, I think we're all pretty happy and content with the outcome of that.
Everybody was entertained. Totally agree. And to get a decent game, a close game, overtime. I mean, when I looked at the stats, the game was so close in so many ways. And a lot of times when I watch sports in general, the team that makes the most mistakes usually loses. You know what I mean? That's how I look at sports right across the board. All the major sports that I watch, it's all about mistakes.
I agree.
You got number 15, he covers them up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they both had 2 turnovers, cancel each other out.
Right.
Where I thought was crucial was 3rd down.
Yes.
San Fran was 3 of 12.
Yes.
And with that, you say situationally, the one day they got held in overtime, that was the most important 3rd down that they didn't convert.
The 3rd and goal,
and
right?
That's just crucial. That's the difference.
No, I agree with you 1,000%, bro. Like the Chiefs kept them in check. I mean, from them holding down Kittle, from them holding down Debo, Ayuk, like they had Jawan Jennings having like a good game now, thinking that he might be somebody they can use instead of Brad Ayuk next year. I don't know what they're gonna do, but like overall, they took away most of his weapons, and I gotta give Brock Purdy some credit. I mean, like given with what the defense was giving him, he made the most of it. But like he didn't lose the game, but he didn't win the game. You know what I mean? So, but those 3rd downs were really crucial, and then like how KC put the clamp on them.
The playmaking ability of Mahomes. I mean,
kind of just gotta roll with those punches or whatever. But I mean, you gotta give Mahomes the credit though, bro, because honestly, like what transpired there, that was crazy, man. Like. I saw what was it, a minute 43 left, right? A minute 43, and then after that, it went right down the field. It's like you can't give that guy any time left, man. We even seen it like when we played Buffalo, like that game against a couple years ago when they played Buffalo. It was like 13 seconds, and he still was able to get it down there. It's really crazy what he can do. Like I gotta give him
with his arm and with his feet.
Yeah,
crucial. I mean, he may not be Lamar Jackson spectacular, but he's effective. And that's all I want is effective. Move the chains and score. See, That's the difference too. Everybody's talking about the whole going for the field goal, or them not going for it on 4th down, San Fran down there in overtime. What would have happened if they got a touchdown? And they were talking about the 3rd possession. I think Kyle Shanahan brought up they both scored. San Fran wanted the 3rd. Here, the bottom line is, then you have Kansas City coming out saying they would have went for 2, which is now going to have people thinking. They're going to have people thinking even if you get the ball first and you score, you might have to go for 2.
Right.
You might have to go for because Kansas City said they were going to go for 2
regardless.
if San Fran got a touchdown.
Right.
So now it made sense. Think about it, Joe. If you go for 2 there, you got your touchdown. You get those extra 2. Now you put the pressure on the team getting it second. And now they have to get a touchdown regardless. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it,
yeah,
it's going to come up, Joe. You'll see.
Like, what was Shanahan saying in the press conference that, like, analytically they were looking at their 3rd possession or whatever? They're looking about I'm like, that makes no sense, bro. Like, honestly, like, I don't know how unprepared you were or, like, how you didn't preach this to your team or something, but, like, that idea is just, like, you think you have so much control over the situation, but, like, you don't know, like, God forbid, like, oh, like, a team's going to try to win the game, bro. They're not going to, you know what I mean? They're not thinking about trying to give you the ball back.
To go 3 possessions into overtime? Wait, what? Throw those analytics out. I'm serious. I mean, listen, I guess they have their place. There's probably places where they are effective and make a difference in whatever game plan you're coming up with. But right there, I mean, should they have kicked the field goal, gone for it down there? Now that I think about it, in retrospect, and then after you hear what Kansas City's saying about if they got a touchdown, they would have went for 2. Now I'm thinking head coaches are going to go for 2 even if you get the first touchdown.
I agree.
You're going to have be up that 8.
Yeah.
You feel me? You need a touchdown anyway.
You're putting pressure. That would have been a good move too. Honestly, when you really think about it, like why not put the pressure on him? You know what I mean? Because they ain't gonna be, you know. I mean,
that's going to come up in future playoff games. It's going to come up big. You'll see.
I agree. That's that Dan Campbell and Sirianni kicking in.
They're going to be they're going to become the norm. It's going to become people going to be rolling those dice, shaking them and rolling them.
I agree. I definitely think I agree with you 1,000%, Glenn. I think that's gonna start popping up more in games and stuff, like crucial decisions and back-breaking moves and whatever else that can be thrown into there.
I mean, second guessing everybody. You know how a lot of times these coaches don't want to get second guessed in the meeting, so they do what is like he can refer to his analytical sheet. People can look at things and take the safe way out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like people who roll the dice, to be honest with you. I'm glad to see more teams and more coaches going for it on 4th down in certain situations. I like to see it. I mean, we need a yard. You're telling me we can't get a yard? Come on. You know what I mean? So.
No, it's like a proving ground of where your team is at, and like and then, you know, like Dan Campbell taking the chance. I can respect it. It's like you've been doing it all year. You have to try for it. You know what I mean?
Situationally, though, it's got to be situational.
Yeah, situational.
He can do it, but there's times where you gotta pull back, Dan. We need those points, bro.
I know.
Feel you.
No, you're absolutely right.
Somebody gets in his ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. Like, there is definitely situations where you go for it, and then when there's situations where you don't go for it, and you know, you look like a bonehead.
Situational.
But like overall, it's like the mentality of going for the kill. You know what I mean? So like, if you can go for the kill, go for the kill. So, all things considered.
When you have the possession, when you have the control in your hands, to me, you have to take advantage of. That's the key. When I talking about San Fran getting the ball first, I was like, I don't really question that. They have to score a touchdown now. That's the bottom line. You got to score a touchdown.
Right. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Because like, you're giving this guy a chance.
You really do.
You just like your defense is already gassed. You already gave him a chance before, and now you're gonna give him another chance to do it again. He's already gassed, bro. Like, this team is gassed. They're not gonna be. They're not there mentally. You know what I mean? Especially with, like, you know.
As soon as they kick.
Oh, go ahead.
No, as soon as they kick the field goal, I say game over. I knew it was over, John. As soon as they kicked, I go game over now.
That's like, yo. Everybody thought that, because like, yo, well, we just saw like them tying up the game, like that just proved it, like they had no chance. But since they won the game, I do want to talk about this. Like, what is the chances that this Kansas City Chiefs team moving forward can do the impossible? At least not, you know, hasn't been done yet in the NFL, and run a three-peat.
Wow, Joe, you just you softball tossed this right to me. There's been 9 teams who have done it.
Oh,
9 teams counting the Chiefs. Real quick.
Right.
Green Bay, 67-68.
Okay.
They missed the playoffs the next year.
Right.
Okay? Miami did it 73-74, missed the playoffs. Pittsburgh did it 75-76, lost the divisional round. Pitt did it again, 79-80, missed the playoffs. San Fran, 89-90, missed the playoffs. Dallas, 93-94, lost the divisional round. Denver did it in 98-99, lost in the wild card round. Then you had New England. Here we go to Tom Brady, the GOAT. The GOAT got the double, got the repeat, and he got to the AFC Championship game and lost to Peyton Manning. So, and he lost a 38-34 game to Peyton Manning. I mean, he was there. He was on the precipice of even getting the opportunity, which takes me to Buffalo, Joe. Buffalo got 4 chances in a row. Can you imagine what Kelly would have been if they won them? He walk on water, man.
I know.
Right? They got
Eternal.
4 in a row, Joe.
I
Think
know.
about that.
I know, dude. Their chances were there. And I mean, like, you were playing the Cowboys a bunch of those times. Like, the you know what I mean? Like, the familiarity with the opponent. You know what I mean? That means a lot. But for this team, I mean, I don't know.
It's on the table.
It's all.
You
It's
got 15.
for sure. It definitely is on the table. I mean, like, this offseason, they got Chris Jones. That's probably their biggest thing. Like, got Chris Jones, and they got L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah, I think Sneed.
Sneed's due for contract. From what I saw in terms of their numbers, I think they're like ranked 17th. They're like about 24 million above the cap. So they'll have some flexibility.
Okay.
I mean, with that flexibility, and they have a good draft. They get Travis to run it back. Rashid Rice had a big year. Came out. You have Isaiah Pacheco. Most of those pieces are still intact. Offensive line that got away with a lot of holding. They're still intact. You know what I mean? Like I think their defense, if they just solidify their defense even more. I think some of these guys are still like free agents, but I mean, I think they can toss around the money where everything can work out, even with a $500 million player. It's pretty crazy.
Gotta have those core pieces. The pass rusher, the lockdown corner. You gotta have them. Like you need Usually it's the receiver. Kansas City has the tight end and quarterback.
Right.
Usually you just need a reliable pass catcher. That's the bottom line.
Right.
They seem like these guys got more reliable as the playoffs went on.
No, I there was like a lot of questions with Travis this year, but then like when the lights came on, bro, he turned up. You know what I mean? He was there.
Give it to him.
He proved why he's a Hall of Famer, man. Really, like there's no doubts about it.
Too.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely gonna be there. Like I mean, he's legit, bro. He's as legit as it comes when it comes to tight ends. I mean, he's got the rings now. Now he's really going for it. So, but this, I think I agree with you.
We'll be asking ourselves if Kyle Shanahan's going to be the Marv Levy of football.
He could be.
Losing these Super Bowls. He's trending in the wrong direction.
He could be. I mean, also I heard another good comparison earlier from another talk show, but maybe he's Andy Reid, man. Maybe he just needs time to really figure everything out. You know what I mean? Like maybe with the right players around him and the right, organizational backing.
Timing,
like,
man.
Yeah, it could be timing. Like Andy, it took Andy a while, and then look at him now, man. We're talking about him being the best ever. You know what I mean? So, in some considerations, but like, he's there, bro.
Oh, he's definitely in the conversation.
And he deserves it. I mean, he's been around, sticking around, and they were talking about him maybe even retiring after this year. And it's like, how do you do it now? You can't. It's like
please. And God, and if they win a third, there's no way he can retire. You got to run this. He's got to run this until the wheels fall off. Andy can't retire. Not
agree.
that you got 15. You got to ride that, Andy. Seriously.
So you're 80 years old. I mean,
seriously, man, roll with it. As long as pass rolling, you just keep there calling your plays, doing your thing, man.
Exactly. You keep everything just set up the way it is, and then everything else should work out. But, like, I definitely think a 3-peat could be on the table. A 4-peat maybe. Who knows, bro? Like, this team is there to dominate, and it's really scary. It really is.
Legitimate conversation. Absolutely.
I agree. Oh, man. It's just like... I don't know, compared to other dynasties, they're definitely a dynasty right now. It's like 3 out of 5 years, right? 3 Super Bowls out of 5 years.
Give them their props.
Yeah, for sure. They're on top of the NFL world, and minus all the sideshow, whatever. I mean, like they still manage and pull through, man. They really do. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what they do, man. It really is.
NFL's a TV show, man. I mean, it's a game and a TV show.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to.
It became a reality show, man.
They hit on every box when it comes to the entertainment factor.
I agree.
And that's what the NFL is.
I agree 1,000%. It's just become a big reality show, and that's what they want, bro. They're bubbling, bro. They're popping. They're popping everything.
Slim through every time.
But yo, I appreciate you coming on, G. I really do. We're gonna do this again next week.
I'm always here to call it like I see it.
That's right, baby. That's right. We're gonna let the whole world know, bro. We're gonna let the whole world know. We're gonna give the people what they want. Oh, I'm ready, Brando. And we're live, all right? We're back, and we're going to tackle on a new take of who we, me and you, think is the best coach in Philly right now. Yes. So, we can go down the list. We can go down the list from Rob Thompson to Nick Sirianni. We can also look at Nick Nurse. But my choice right now is John Tortorella. Flyers are playing really good. I'm actually watching them again, even though I don't really talk about them enough on the show. But I am watching. I am. And shout out to Sean Couturier, 20th captain. Well deserved, I think. Playing healthy. He's on the ice. It's a good thing. You know, I like TK, but, you know, that is what it is. But, Torts, I think, is definitely in a good position right now to be Coach of the Year in the NHL, as Brandon yawns. And, I just, I think the Flyers right now, even getting Keith Jones as president and having Danny Briere as GM, I think they're way ahead of schedule. And having a coach like this, doing rebuilds and having his system implemented and working in a certain way where people buy in and go that way, I think is showing light to where the Flyers are nowadays. So, I would
especially in the mess of this Carter Hart situation.
Oh yeah, what a fucking fiasco
because truthfully, losing your, number one goalie in the beginning, mid part of the season,
right at the All-Star break, basically.
It's just like that would ruin a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So for him to keep the distractions out and to keep all the negativity out, and Danny Briere made a good comment about it and said, "Don't ask any of our players. We already told all of the players not to make a comment and to direct it at management."
Right.
And I think that's the collective way to keep a group of, they're young.
Yes.
They can get caught up in this very, very quickly emotion-wise.
No, for sure.
They got to be professional,
I agree.
So
1,000%.
I agree with what you just said. This is a very well-managed team.
Yes.
I think you have the right brains around the Flyers for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's funny to see that because
it's weird.
It is weird.
It's very weird.
But it's all about fit, and I think these guys, when it trickles down from management to coaching staff to players, they're all on the same page, and it really shows. Really is there's nothing negative going out, and collectively they're just moving in the same direction altogether, which is very powerful.
And that's what we talked about a couple weeks ago or a week ago with the Sixers, right? And we can talk about the same thing with the Eagles. And, we've had this identity crisis in management / coaching with the Phillies.
Yes.
Right? And that's literally when you look across the board at the great franchises, it's like, what does it stem from? Well, it stems from good ownership to good GMs to good coaches and then to the players. And it's a culture.
Right.
And they're creating something in Philly with, I'll be honest with you, truthfully, Torts, I'm 31 years old.
Yeah,
Torts is arguably a top 3 NHL coach in my lifetime.
All time.
At least in my life, right? Because coaches before, the list goes on with that. But what I've consciously watched as a young kid to a teenager to a young adult to where I am now, the dude just everywhere he goes, he just creates culture.
He's got 40 years. He's got 40 years of coaching. If you really look at his resume, it's pretty crazy.
It is. And his style, he's a hockey coach.
Yes.
It's just, it is what it is.
He calls you out.
He's not, that's the thing that, separates him from, Doc Rivers.
Yeah, he holds you accountable.
I'm making a cross comparison, but, that's the type of thing is you watch Doc in Boston and, what did he do?
Nothing. He let the players...
4 Hall of Famers, bro.
Yeah.
What did you do? And then you rode the coattail of winning 1 championship with that team. For years, you just used that as a narrative to get jobs, and you were just a fluke everywhere you went.
Yeah.
But Torts has got it done in so many different ways with so many different franchises and taking them from the fucking gutter.
Right.
And turning them into cup contenders.
Yes.
Every time.
His resume checks out. It is very wild. I think the only thing that's really bit him in the ass that he's been more controlling this year is he's boisterous, which is a good thing in that sport. I think.
You have to be in hockey.
I agree, but
If you're passive, you're done.
right. But the situation he had with the Canucks, and then after that he ended up with the Blue Jackets and took them on a little run. So
Yeah.
it's his message gets across, but I think over time, I think it showed also that some players, I guess, it just rubs them off the wrong way, or
But it's the hardball effect. It's the
Right.
reason why I don't like the hardballs, right? And people don't. I don't get into this conversation very often,
Okay.
right? But it's not that I dislike them as men.
Right.
What I dislike them as is they're not NFL coaches, because the thing is that hoorah, that getting on you, that voice gets old after about 4 to 5 years on average.
Right.
Right. And you want an 18-year-old kid to come in and hear you like that for 3 to 4 years.
Right.
And then guess what? You get a whole fresh batch of them the next year, and then a whole fresh batch. In professional sports, these guys sign 8, 10-year contracts, bro.
Yeah.
These are grown men that this is what they get paid millions of dollars to do.
Right.
Right? It's they're not in a position to always be like that, right? And getting on Coots the other day, right, in the media, that can only go on for so many years with a player.
Right.
No matter how strong the individual is, no matter how much, you gotta think about it. Every day in practice, these guys are busting their balls for this guy.
Right.
Every day they show up to the rink and get paid to go play a game, they bust their ass for this guy. This dude shits on him in the media. Every time he does one little thing wrong, it's glorified. He gets benched for a period just to prove a point. It's after so many years, only certain people can take it. And
Right.
we're in a soft culture.
Yes.
We've seen, and then all right, so we can go back to the Vancouver situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to now analyze the roster that Vancouver has. They got a lot of Europeans. Their star players are European, right? That's not their style.
No, it's not.
And that style is meant for the United States kids, for the Canadians, right? It's not. It's a North American style.
Right.
Right? European coaches aren't true. They're quiet, man.
Yeah, they let the players play.
Quiet.
They reap the benefits from the players.
And then guess what? If you're a star player, that coach don't say shit.
Right. But that shows later on when they're playing in the Olympics and stuff. You know what I mean? That's why they don't end up winning it all.
It's a very I see. Hockey's a little different. Baseball is the only one that you can make the comparison to North American professional sports.
Right.
Because in baseball, you still do get the Spanish guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? You still do get the black dudes from different neighborhoods, right? The culture's different, so they're raised different, so they teach different. And with hockey, it's dude, you got guys from all over the world. Freaking world.
Right.
And they come from places that some of them are communist. You know what I mean? Everything's their country.
Right.
They don't give a fuck what you have to say, dude.
Right.
They don't give a shit.
Right.
Dude, they're worried about Russia, bro. They're worried about Slovakia. They're worried about these places that you don't even go to on vacation.
That we don't know about.
So you don't even understand the culture, and unless you play hockey and have been around those types of kids and coaches, it's you don't understand there's these different styles. And I guess see, I use North American sports, but I guess the other good one is soccer. You know what I mean? People don't realize why some dudes are good in England and they suck in Spain. Right? Or they're really bad in France, but they're amazing in Portugal. Right? And it's well, because you got to realize the culture that's there. If you're not catering to England is rough, bro.
Yeah.
They're throwing beers on you, dude, on a Sunday like it's the NFL.
Right.
That's where the NFL got their stuff from. People don't even realize this, right? Soccer dominated in England for years on Sundays. They could pack a stadium with 100,000 drunk people on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And they played the way that we do. They have their 1 o'clock games, they have their 4 o'clock games, and then 7 o'clock's that prime time Sunday night football.
Right.
That's literally Man City and Arsenal.
Right.
That's Manchester United and Liverpool.
They
you
set
come
all that
home
up
from school at 3 o'clock in the afternoon,
and boom.
That's that's their 7 o'clock Premier League fucking thing in North America.
Right.
But people don't view it as that sometimes. It's like, but that's besides the fact. But it's kind of the same way with coaching, is you have these like certain things, and then, you know, that really translates, I think, to the culture of who the Flyers are as a franchise.
Right.
And the only time that they are successful is when they're physical and they have a little bit of talent, and then they just have this team of like
hard-nosed.
Yeah, it's just, that's the culture, that's
right.
the city. Like, it has to fit, and he's the coach that fits.
Fits that, yes. He is that,
right?
like,
You remember Hitchcock?
Yeah.
So people like looked at him and they just saw like this like teddy bear, right? And he was like around the same time as Andy Reid. So like, we just have these like bolsterous, walrus coaches in Philly. But like when you look back and you look on the bench and you look back at like what the players used to say, like Leclerc and Brecky and Lindros and like Desjardins and like all these dudes, like that dude would rip you.
Yeah, like you don't.
He was not quiet at all.
Right, you see a different face.
That's the exact reason at one point he coached the Canadian hockey team, because he just knew how to speak to the people. He knew how to get the best out of them, right? And he went, same thing. He went to Columbus at one point and did some shit. Like, it's sometimes it's just, that's what it is. And you know, we've been missing that. We've been having these like either pansy asses or like guys who were just trying to like do too much.
Exactly, I agree 1,000%.
Right, like we had Tocchet, right, for a little bit, and like, come on, dude, like.
Listen, that motherfucker's a degenerate gambler. That's all he really is.
Yeah, and it was more like you could see that he like had no connection with the team.
No, he's just like he lost.
He was just there.
I think he's coaching the Canucks right now.
Huh?
I think he's coaching the Canucks right now, I believe.
Yeah, and he's blessed because he's got these fucking young prodigies.
Right. So he makes his job easier.
Stacked, dude. Yeah. So it's gonna make him look good.
Right, I agree.
Like how many dudes have coached Pittsburgh?
Yeah, like Brad Stevens, all these guys. It's like a revolving door.
It's a revolving. It doesn't matter, dude. They had fucking Marc-Andre Fleury, Chris Letang, Evander Malkin, Sidney Crosby, Phil Kessel. Like, dude, they're just fucking talented stacked, all the freaking time.
You have a coach on the ice, so like it doesn't really matter.
But, yeah, and you know what, this Flyers team, the Flyers organization has always been like, let's get one really good player, and let's get like 4 decent guys, right? And then the rest of them, we got to make them know what their role is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have like 1 or 2 good D and a solid goaltending.
Yeah, and after that,
you play defense.
Right.
You play from goal line to goal line, and that's the culture. There's a lot of coaches that like forget instilling that in these young kids, and again, like these young kids are coming in soft, just like in the NBA with AAU and like all that. Now hockey's a little different, but there's still social media kids, there's still video game kids, they're still eating candy all the time and not taking their profession serious. Like
this whole thing that happened with the Drysdale trade, like the kid that they got rid of, you know what I mean? Like, couldn't tell you who he was. Yeah.
Immature.
Yeah, it's
because he didn't realize that he's coming to a fantastic franchise. He's coming to a city that's going to make him a superstar.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to rally behind you, dude.
Right.
And the kid is talented.
Right.
That's the worst part. But, like, where are you going to go? Like, this is a hockey city, dude.
Right.
You want to go to a city that's for fucking pussies? Go to a city for pussies. Go ahead. I hope you never win nothing.
You want to Disneyland to go play hockey?
Yeah, like, bro, you want to go to Anaheim? Go to Anaheim. Go ahead. They're not going to win nothing.
No.
There's ugly jerseys. Come on, dude. They're the West Coast Flyers. Like, we're the original, dude. Come on.
Overall, though, I mean, I definitely think Tort has definitely changed the culture for the better. And I just think right now, man, like, with his experience, like, yeah, he's been there longer than these other guys, right? Like, Nick Nurse, he kind of just started coaching, like, maybe 5-10 years ago. Thompson, he was a bench coach for the longest time. And, like, Sirianni's just a fucking puppet, to be honest. But, like, so that's why I'm saying, like, I would give him the advantage. And he's gone to other organizations and won. And his resume really checks out to the point where I give him the check mark over these other guys.
Yeah.